I'm ready. Good afternoon. Somebody, if you're different time zone, good morning. I'm Denise Lugo-Fowler from Disability Rights New Jersey's ATAC team. And we are here today for the ATAC Spotlight featuring WordQ. And I'm going to turn it over to David Lester.
Hi, thanks, Denise. So, as Denise said, my name is David Lester. I'm Vice President of Quillsoft, based in the UK. So it's currently 5 o'clock here. I imagine various time zones where you all are. And today I'm going to be talking about WordQ and how that supports reading and writing through the use of assistive technology. I will move on to showing you it. In a short while, there will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end. But to start with, I just wanted to run through and just tell you a bit about WordQ and about Quillsoft. So WordQ was created from the research team from Canada's largest children's rehabilitation hospital based in Toronto, that's Holland Bloorview. For over 22 years, we've been supporting users with both visible and invisible disabilities. Learning difference, mobility issues, acquired brain injury, the various forms of background of users who of WordQ, and they go anywhere from sort of grade 3 level right through to adults. So we have a lot of adults who are using WordQ across not just North America, but far and wide, UK, Europe, and over to Asia. Our CEO and founder, Dr. Fraser Sheen, who's still very much involved with the business, is a leader in assistive technology research. And WordQ was designed based on evidence with input from educators as well as clinicians. So we pulled on the experiences of those at Holland Bloorview when we were looking at the development of WordQ and how that can support users. So a lot of people ask why, and we find WordQ can improve the quality of writing as well as the confidence of the user. It enhances reading comprehension as well as active learning strategies within schools. It complements existing strategies which are used and exist in instruction in both reading and writing. And what we found is that it allows users to become active participants in their learning and their usage. It makes them more independent. And what we have done is we have created WordQ so that the vocabulary complexity can be differentiated. So everything from the use of our pre-writing tool right through to the initial setup of vocabulary, there's various levels of difficulty and complexity. There are flexible licensing options, and we do support a lot of individuals who purchase WordQ to support them in their writing, and it is cross-platform. So whether individuals are working on Windows machines, a laptop using Mac OS, Chromebooks, or iPads, WordQ can work for them. So the key features of it. We have one version, and because the business is in Toronto, then we look to support both English and French. But what WordQ does when it gets installed is it will identify the language that the computer is set to, and will set the user interface to match that language. We've done a lot of work on contextualized word prediction, and what will happen is, as a sentence is being typed, WordQ will look at the preceding 4 or 5 words and contextualize the suggestions and predictions that come up in the window. We also have the ability for WordQ to work both with offline and online apps. So it will read back words that are in websites, and I'll demonstrate that shortly. As I say, we do look at pre-writing, and I'll explain that in a moment. But that's where ThoughtQ comes in, and it allows users to build topic lists to help them with their development of words and phrases and sentences. We do have speech recognition built into this. It can either be used both online or offline, and we use Microsoft voice typing for that. So where our users are looking to speak what they want to write, the text will appear on the screen. We're very, very aware that, especially for those with mobility issues, but also just generally who find writing difficult, it can be quite exhausting, it can be quite tiring. So we look to take the burden away from that. And when it comes to word prediction, we'll usually be getting the right words within 2 keystrokes. For anyone who's currently got WordQ and WordQ 5, the latest version is compatible with that. So the ability to import previous profiles are there. And then in addition to the standard elements of word prediction, speech to text, and text to speech, we also have abbreviation expansion. So you can put in 3 letters, it will put the whole word out there. Proofreading, exam mode, and also a PDF viewer and editor as well. So where PDFs are searchable, WordQ will be able to work on top of that. So just looking at WordQ as a total writing support tool. The first part, the pre-writing element, within WordQ, there's an element called thought queue, which I'll show you in a moment. And that's used when you know the topic, but you don't know how or where to start writing that. Following that, we've got the WordQ as a peri-writing tool. So as you start typing, the word prediction, text to speech and speech to text supports as the writing begins and continues. And then as a post-writing tool, the word prediction, the text to speech and proofreading allows you to be able to hear what you've written. And quite often, and I struggle with it as well, sometimes the ear hears what the eye doesn't see. So the proofreading element is really, really important and instrumental in being able to work out errors. And again, reinforce this part about being independent during your writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this window for a moment. This and it. I'm going to pull the menu over for WordQ. So this is what you can see with WordQ. There is a settings module, so you can change the speed of how words are read back to you, as well as setting up hotkeys. So being able to put shortcuts in place, again, to take the workload out of the writing. Now, I talked about pre, peri, and post writing tools. So we're going to start with the pre. So what WordQ can allow you to do is, ThoughtQ is a research tool. So if, for instance, you want to search and find out more information about baseball, won't put anyone, don't let the UK and British accent fool you. So we'll look at something that is North American. What WordQ will do is it will give you a series of words that relate to that particular topic. And I was talking about differentiation. You can either reduce the number of words or increase the number that you'll see in that topic list. And also the icons along the bottom will either increase the complexity or make them easier. If we then wanted to search Babe Ruth, we click the search button. And this over. It will do a search for you. Let's move that. So we get information about Babe Ruth, and that's the link. So we wanted to know what Babe Ruth had to do with it. We go onto the website. We have a series of text there. Now, the joy of WordQ, as I say, is that it will read out. It will read out the text as it is. So if we highlight that, and I'm hoping you'll be able to hear this.
Ruth also was a skilled pitcher early in his career, and led the Red Sox to 3 World Series championships before being traded to the Yankees in 1919.
Now, if I just pause that, you're able to go through it word by word.
Yankees.
And then we can start it again by pressing the space bar.
The Yankees in 1919.
I'm going to pause that for one moment. So if we feel this information is then useful to the topic that we want to talk about, we can highlight it. Just bring this back over. We can set up a topic list. I'm going to set this one as baseball. And what we can do is we can import the text that we've just copied and pasted. So we're going to edit, we're going to import, we're going to drop that bit of text in there. And we can move those words over. So we now have a topic list that's all about Babe Ruth and to do with baseball. So that's the pre-writing part. If we then go to start typing, I'm just going to click OK on that. So we'll move this across. What we'll now see as I open up the prediction, I'm hoping you can see the prediction box, is if I start typing about Babe Ruth, 1 is coming up in the prediction, but we can also see that it's blue. Now, to make life easier for our users, we can either select that word or phrase by either clicking on it, or we can select the word by pressing the number. And it'll put that word in. We can see other word suggestions there that we might want to move on to. So you might want to say it was a baseball pitcher. Now, at the moment, we're just seeing the words that are being predicted. What we're also able to do is we can have the words read back to us as we type.
He was a child.
You
very
can hear the examples
baby,
there.
young,
We'll put larger
than, personality, he was a larger-than-life character.
So we're seeing here that the way that WordQ can support the peri-writing. So as you're doing it, the options are there. We then can look at post-writing support. So if we've got the full paragraph, what I'm going to do is just turn this off for one moment. What we can then do is we can highlight that text. So if we say that you've written that piece of work.
Ruth also was a skilled pitcher early in his career, and led the Red Sox to 3 World Series championships before.
Now you can hear that the reading at the moment is quite slow. So what we're able to do is where we have the speech feedback, we can speed it up a little bit. We carry on reading.
Ruth also was a skilled pitcher early in his career.
So whether you want the words read back to you at a higher speed or a slower speed, you can do that. You can also choose the voice that you have it read back on. So we have a choice of both male and female voices that can be used as part of WordQ. So and that's actually done. I show you when you set up your profile. we're going to go new user. We have your English US. So we go intermediates, and that will provide you access to 10,000 commonly used words. Then you can select your voice, which you want to use. Take that one, we'll go this one.
I'm very pleased to talk with you.
So there are options there so that you can personalize the way that WordQ is used. Just do this. Your profile is now saved. Now, I mentioned about abbreviation expansion. If I just show you this. So if, for instance, we wanted to put that as an option, when we now type NFL, that didn't work out all right, did it?
Football. League.
And that's my spelling error there. So there are ways, there's tips and tricks to be able to make the whole writing process as easy as possible to ensure that there's the least amount of energy that's put in. As I say, when tasks are difficult for people, it can be tiring, it can cause fatigue. One of the things which I have been involved in and was involved in earlier on in the year was we were invited to talk at an event in Paris at the UNESCO headquarters that was talking about the use of assistive technology within inclusive environments. And we spoke very much, not so much about the functionality of WordQ or the way that assistive technology can be used, but actually looking at the wider impact of technology. And by that, what we were looking at was improvements in self-esteem, self-confidence when it comes to writing. Being able to provide a route that users can do more with the same amount of energy, but also ensuring that they are allowed to be independent. And one of the things with WordQ is that as well as working on offline apps, it does work on online applications as well. So it can be used with things like Google Docs, with Office 365. It will come up.
Leaguers.
Let me just turn that off while it's talking. It will also be used and can be used within a browser setting. So if I open that back up again, and if we go to google.co.uk, so it's not reading back. And then if we stay with the sports thing, if we put in soccer, oh, where's my prediction gone? Let's do it up here. So we have a prediction there. And as well as the words, which will come up in that prediction, in many cases when we're working within documents such as Word or PowerPoint, what we are able to see is usage examples for those words as well. So we'll just open that back up and go to here. Show that example, and then if we've got that,
To see.
Got the speech.
To. We're going to school now.
So I'll read those examples back to you. So this isn't about grammar, because there are other products out there that will support in making sure things are grammatically correct. But if you're using software like Word, then it will pick out where there are grammatical errors. This is very much about ensuring you've got the tools to be able to give you the words that you're looking to put down. And just one
2,
final bit, which I will leave you with, when we were talking about contextualized prediction, if I type where we've got swim in there, it's coming up to the island, the surface, the side, or the shore. I'm going to fly to the moon, sky, might be United States. So this is the contextualized prediction. There are somewhere in the region of 12,500 words that can follow the word the. This is why it will look further into the sentence to be able to provide you with words that are predicted in line with the sentence that you're typing. That was a quick run through. There are, and I'm just going to share my contact details with you. So we just do that. There are and is lots of information on our website, on the quillsoft.ca site. I can be contacted at dlester@quillsoft.ca. The phone number's on there as well. But I think we are supporting, as I say, children, adults, those with both invisible and visible disabilities. I hope you found that quick run through useful. Happy to take any questions, and say beyond this, if anybody does have questions or wants to have a trial of WordQ, then we can make that available and share links around after today's session. Thanks very much.
Thank you, David. There are a few questions in the chat. Would you like me to read them?
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay, so will WordQ read those topics you just showed in ThoughtQ for those who have reading difficulties?
It would, yeah. So the version I've shown today is it's a pre-release version. So we've got the new one that's coming out in, well, we're hoping it's going to be for general release from Monday. But yeah, it will be reading those words out in the topics. And if they're added manually, then it will read those words back to you as well.
So can you access the Microsoft Natural Voices for more human sounding TTS?
At the moment, we're due to add to the voices which we've got. So if I just turn this off for a moment, I'll take you to a website. Let me end that. So at the moment, the voices we have, we go down. So we've got the two in there at the moment. We are looking to add to that. We are also looking at ways in which we can expand the voices as well. At the moment, we have.
My name is Ryan, and I'm pleased to speak to you.
Then we've got Heather as well.
My name is Heather, and I'm pleased to speak to you.
So they're the two that we've got at the moment, but there are other options in there if anybody wanted an Australian or a UK English voice as well.
Another question. The earlier slides indicate one version of WordQ. Does that mean we get free updates to subsequent versions if we purchase the current license?
Yeah. So WordQ is sold on a subscription basis, an annual subscription. All updates that relate to that. Stop sharing for a moment. All updates that relate to that are all included. As, if, and when there's a further version of WordQ, then updates will be available within that subscription.
Great, thank you. And one final question: is there a trial available for a teacher or a student before purchasing?
Absolutely. So we actually encourage individuals to try WordQ before they purchase. So we do it based on request. So my email address, I'll just drop it into the chat box again, just in case anybody wants it. So you can email me. All we'll need to know is what operating system or what platform you're planning on using it on. We can make trials available. So we offer a 30-day trial for Windows users as well as Mac OS users. There isn't a trial available for iWordQ. That's just purely because everything has to go through the Apple Store. So we have very, very little control over that. But anyone using a Windows machine, a Mac OS, or a Chromebook can get access to a trial. And as I say, all they have to do is just email me.
Oh, looks like there's one more question that came into the chat. Is subscription the only means of purchasing a license, or do you sell standalone or network versions which do not require a subscription?
Everything's subscription based. We do provide licenses for individuals. We also then bring in volume discounts, 5 or more, where we work with schools or school boards. We can provide sort of an option there that can be deployed across a network.
And what is the cost for an individual? That just came into the.
So for one individual license, it's $119 for the year.
Any additional questions? We have about 1 more minute. If not, thank you so much. Oh, 119 currency.
That's US. 119 US dollars.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. And thank you, David, for sharing all this great information with us. And thank you very much.
Thanks all.